Hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar on PharmFlix and everything that you will need to know about this year's theme. My name is Kennedy Erickson, and I'm so excited to be serving you this year as your APHA ASP National President. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on our social media. We have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and would love to connect with you in that way. I am also very excited to welcome a very special guest this evening. Lauren Williams is from the University of Kentucky School of Pharmacy, and she is going to be a co-host this evening. And her school also won the Most Inspirational Award for PharmFlix last year. So Lauren, go ahead and say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see your faces on Zoom tonight, and I'm even more excited to see your PharmFlix videos in the spring.
Me too. So before we get started, I just kind of want to gauge where you all are at with PharmFlix. Who here has participated before, and who here might be more of a dinosaur, something you've done before kind of thing? And we're going to launch a poll here. Can everyone see the poll? Okay, cool.
I'm not sure if you can see the results, Kennedy, but it looks like 23% have participated in the past, and then 77% this is going to be their first time.
Oh, this is so exciting. Okay. Well, thank you, at least, because I couldn't see it. And I was like, wow, this poll's really taken everyone a little bit of time here. Cool. Well, so whether this is your first time or you are more experienced with PharmFlix, this is going to be a very exciting year for PharmFlix. PharmFlix is a very great opportunity to showcase professionalism while also expressing your creativity by creating short public service announcements. So what are public service announcements? That is a great question. Public service announcements are videos that relay a message, and there are different genres. So you can make them in the form of documentaries or commercials, like the Geico commercial, or music videos. Think your classic Taylor Swift, You Belong With Me, or movie trailers. And it doesn't have to look like this. It can be any genre that you prefer. Those are just examples. This is really your space to be creative to relay this year's theme, which is Courage to Change. Courage to Change focuses on ways that student pharmacists and APHA ASP chapters have been courageous in overcoming challenges presented on campus or within their communities. To me, Courage to Change has three different facets. It's for yourself, your community, and for pharmacy. For me, Courage to Change can look like asking for help when you need it. It can look like seeing a need in your community and trying something new to fix it. It can look like going to your legislator or senator and advocating for something that is pro-pharmacy and will really help the profession. But I am more curious to know how you are showcasing Courage to Change this year. And I'd like to open up the floor to all of you to kind of answer these thought questions. So how are you and your chapter members prioritizing your passions, needs, and self-care? How are you and your chapter members advocating for pharmacy? And how are you and your chapter members making a difference in your community? And now this can be something that you're doing right now or something that you plan in the future, but I'm excited to hear what you all plan to do with this year's theme. So go ahead and unmute your mics and be brave and let us know what you got.
Hi, I'm Samantha Ritter from University of Iowa, and we are setting up a ton of flu shot clinics in the neighborhood at like Hy-Vees and Walgreens and stuff. So that's one way that we're trying to make a difference.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Immunization is super important, and I know that it will make a huge difference in your community. So thanks for sharing that. Anybody else have something they're doing to showcase their courage to change?
Hi, my name is Christina Catagui, and I'm the president for the APHA chapter here in UT Tyler. And how me and my chapter members are advocating for pharmacy. So we're always looking out for what APHA advocates for. So like, for example, Paxlovid, they had recently allowed pharmacists to prescribe for that. So in our meetings and everything, like we present this QR code and we're always like promoting it, saying like, hey guys, this is what the problem is right now. These are the issues, and this is what we can do to help, pass this or something like that, like even for like provider status and stuff. So we're always looking out for what APHA is trying to advocate for, and helping you guys sign on to that. And we're trying to make a difference in our community. So we actually implemented like specific chapter operations. So we recently like held events such as HPV vaccinations and tobacco cessation events. So we're planning to expand on that. And we also held blood pressure awareness events in our community at the farmers market. So we actually had a couple of events in already, and we're still planning for more. And how we're prioritizing our passions, needs, and self-care. Well, we're always open to communication. So we're just helping our chapter members feel like, if school is always a priority, and if they always need help or anything, we always have each other to lean on.
Oh my gosh, that warmed my heart. Thank you for sharing that, Christina.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jenna Knudsen from the University of Minnesota. And one of the things that we are doing this year is emphasizing mental health. So we're partnering with the Mental Health Coalition, and we had them come and share stories at our first year mental health session to really kind of open that dialogue and destigmatize mental health, and just let students know that we're here for them, and we all kind of go through those things, and we're here to support each other.
Oh my gosh, I love that too. So much heartwarming tonight. Thank you, Jenna, for sharing that. Anyone else?
In South Dakota at SDSU, we are also focusing on mental health. So we are starting a 5K with like a nursing club, pre-professionals club, and a couple other ones on campus to do a 5K. And then all the money we raise for that will be donated to the National Alliance on Mental Health. So pretty excited about that one.
That is really exciting. I'm excited to see that. You should send pictures our way. All right, well, I will keep going, but if you have anything you would like to say, just go ahead and pop the little hand feature up and please share with all of us. I am always open to hearing more about what you all are up to. But if not, I am going to hand it off to Lauren to go over the video requirements for this year.
Thanks, Kennedy. So we've mentioned that this is a really flexible program and you have a lot of room for creativity, but there are a few requirements that you need to be mindful of when you're creating your video. First of all, the COVID pandemic is still a little bit of an issue. So if your school has any restrictions, you want to be mindful and adherent to those with your video. You also want to make sure your video is relevant to this year's theme, Courage to Change. And you need to include the phrase, we are from the APHA ASP chapter at, and you can include your school name, and we have the courage to change. Your video also needs to be less than 90 seconds, and you're going to want to upload it to YouTube to share it.
All right, so in addition to those requirements, we'd also like you to include the following tags: APHA, APHA ASP, PharmFlix, your chapter's name, and Courage to Change. Please utilize only the provided logos, including the appropriate APHA logo, which you can see is up on the slide here. It's a little different than our older logo. And this year's presidential theme logo, which is available in the Dropbox in the chapter officer resources on pharmacist.com. I'm going to hand it back to Lauren for some commonly asked questions.
Yes, so a few of these questions you might be thinking of are about the written releases. So you do need to get those for anyone that you're like directly including in your video. So if you're interviewing or you have someone that's very visible in the screen, you're going to need to get that paper from them. If you have any minors or children in it, you're also going to need that permission from their parent or legal guardian, and you're going to need to keep that on document. If you do have any wide groups of people or people kind of walking by that you can't really distinguish, you do not necessarily need releases for those.
You may also be wondering about types of music that you can use. So you have a few options. You can use music that you create yourself. You can also use the original music of artists that give you expressed written permission. You can also use music that is available in the public domain, as well as royalty-free music. It is important to note that purchasing or downloading music does not permit you to use it according to copyright laws. And the music that you use in your video must be exempt from copyright law. So just make sure you're asking for permission if you're going to be using original music from artists. You may also be wondering, how are the awards selected? So the committee looks at a few different factors. So that would be the overall impact and relevance of the video. So how impactful your video is to the viewers, the creativity and originality of the video, how motivating and inspiring it is, because we have a most inspirational award. So that's a huge factor that we're looking at. Humor or informative value, because we have a most humorous award, that also makes sense. We look for message clarity and execution, and professionalism and adherence to the theme. So the 3 awards that are selected by the chapters at each annual meeting is the best overall picture, most humorous, and most inspirational. So make sure you send a chapter delegate to the annual meeting this year so that they can vote for your video. Handing it back to Lauren to go over the prizes.
All right, so you may be wondering what's in it for your chapter if you do really well in this competition. So the first top 10 nominees will receive certificates, and they'll be recognized at the APHA 2023 annual meeting. There will also be a winner of each category that'll get another certificate. And then the best overall picture will receive a PharmFlix trophy. Videos nominated in each category will also be showcased at the APHA 2023 annual meeting, and they may be publicized on the APHA ASP social media platforms.
So I have a QR code for you all if you want to get your phones out and scan it. It goes straight to the PharmFlix homepage where you can find sample videos of previous chapters who have engaged in PharmFlix this year. And we're going to go full screen mode and watch the winner from last year. Congratulations to Purdue University. If you are on the call right now, shout out to you for this great video. And we're going to go ahead and watch it. Get your popcorn rolling.
I don't know. I just don't know a lot about this vaccine. I wish there was someone around here that we could ask for more information from. Oh, I know. Watch this. Like a good provider, student pharmacists are there. Hi there. Whoa, who are you? My name is Jen, and I'm a student pharmacist from Purdue. How can I help you?
Well, we were just talking about the COVID vaccine, and we had some questions that we were hoping you could answer for us.
Sure. What questions do you have?
Well, first of all, what if I get COVID from the vaccine?
That's a great question.
None of the currently approved vaccines actually use a live virus. They either use a virus that's already been killed so it can't infect you, or just the instructions to make proteins from the virus.
Wait, so why have people been getting so sick from the vaccine if they're not getting COVID?
Some people have started to feel under the weather or have side effects because their body is learning how to recognize those proteins. That way, when you encounter the real virus, your body knows how to fight it.
Oh, I get it. So that means our bodies are just seeing that protein and fighting that as if it were the virus.
Exactly. That's why some people get slightly more side effects after their second or third dose because their body has already seen it and knows how to fight it.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I think I feel much better about getting the vaccine now that I know I won't get COVID from it.
Awesome. Let me know if you have any more questions. And if you'd like, you can come to the Purdue Pharmacy to get your vaccine.
We are from the APHA ASP chapter at Purdue University, and we are vaccine confident.
All right. And now back to Lauren for some tips and tricks for participating in PharmFlix this year.
Yeah, so like we've mentioned, the PharmFlix category has a lot of opportunity for you to really be creative. So the theme is meant to be flexible and really for you to kind of take your own spin on it. And we do recommend that you start early. You want to create a video sign up or some kind of way to gauge membership involvement and kind of get a list of people who would be good to pull from to get things rolling. You also want to get those releases, those forms done as you're filming. So you don't want to be chasing down people after the fact, worrying about trying to get those in. You do want to use the APHA style guide for the APHA specific branding. And also, if you've never made a video before, it's really no big deal. I had never made one when I did it, and it's a pretty easy process, and there are lots of apps and platforms you can use to go about it. You do want to avoid filming outside or in any open, windy, or loud spaces. And then less is more. Your video doesn't have to be complicated. It can have a really simple kind of take on the theme and can just really show some different creativity. And of course, have fun with it. It's meant to be a fun competition to get your chapter involved in working together. And just a few more tips. You might find it helpful to make a PharmFlix committee or maybe even create a new leadership position. And that can also be a way to incentivize your members to get more involved. It's also helpful if you set a forgiving timeline, and we all know things can come up, so having a little bit of flexibility before the deadline can be helpful. You could also consider creating some kind of online submission form for your members to submit creative ideas if you're kind of having trouble getting started. If your school has a marketing or communication team, it might be helpful to reach out to them for some help. And then you could also consider writing a script ahead of time to kind of give people a little bit of an idea of what they're going into. You also want to use passionate members. So you want to see the excitement on people's faces and know that they're really enjoying what they're doing in making the video. And then finally, you might find it helpful to make leaders designated as directors, especially if they might have some filming experience.
Thank you, Lauren. Those are super helpful. So you may be wondering where we're at in terms of PharmFlix. So congratulations to you all. You're at the first step and we're just about halfway done with it. So September 13th, here we are, the PharmFlix informational webinar. We will have these materials available for you to reference if you need them. And between now and December 1st is when your video camera time should be rolling. And we would like to see those submissions submitted by 11:59 Pacific time. By January 1st, you should be getting a confirmation email from APHA saying that we got your video. And then in February, the top videos that are nominated for each category will be announced. At annual meeting this year, which is March 24th to 27th, in Phoenix, Arizona. I hope to see you all there. The national winners will be announced and they're voted upon by the chapter delegates. So again, make sure you send someone to vote for your video. And if you have any questions between Now in annual meeting, Elise Damon, she's the senior manager for student development, will be able to help you. She's the staff point of contact for questions. You can also reach out to me and Lauren, but sometimes there is more expertise where she is involved. So she's also a great person to reach out to. And now I would like to open up the floor to any questions that you might have, and then we'll go into discussion. And you can ask any questions. I won't think they're dumb. All right. If at any point you have questions, go ahead and unmute, or you can drop them into the chat and we will do our best to address them. Oh, I haven't even been looking at the chat. I can look. Okay, they've been answered. Cool. So we will go into our discussion. So my first question for all of you is which aspect of courage to change are you hoping to capture with your PharmFlix submission this year? And you can just go ahead and throw out any ideas that you have. As for Aaron's question, does it have to be pharmacy related? My chapter is potentially pursuing an idea with the theme, but not highlighting pharmacy as much. I don't think it necessarily has to be pharmacy related. It's just related to the theme, which is courage to change. So if you're looking to capture another aspect of that theme, whether it's for, personal reasons, for the community, or for pharmacy, I think that's just fine. Courage to change isn't just for pharmacy, it's for a lot of other aspects that we go through in our day-to-day lives. So I think that's just fine. Yes, I would love to see service projects, Katarina. I think that would be a great way to showcase the theme this year. Student pharmacists are very involved in various community service projects, and I do think that definitely shows some courage to change your community. So I think that's a great idea. Does the subject of the video have to be something that our chapter specifically initiated? Or can we highlight something going on at our College of Pharmacy we noticed? It doesn't have to be like something new. That was just an example that I gave. If there's something going on in your community that your college continually is involved in, I think that's a great way to showcase courage to change as well. Any other questions? Or does anyone want to answer my question? Give everyone some inspo.
Are there any like specific apps that you would recommend using from past experience?
I can answer that one, Kennedy, if you want.
Yeah.
So I made the video. I never made a video before, didn't have any experience, but I used iMovie and I found that it was really easy to kind of operate. I used my laptop. I think they probably have apps that are probably very similar as well.
And if anyone else has like participated in PharmFlix before and you have like some tips you want to give the group, feel free to do so. Would be more than happy to hear those. Actually, that was my next question. So if you've participated in PharmFlix before, what tips do you have for everyone who is new to the game?
I can get this conversation started while everyone else is thinking. I thought it was very helpful to take more footage than I really needed. That way I could just kind of cut out what worked and what didn't, and kind of be flexible with that space. So definitely take a little bit extra time to get in more time than your 90 seconds.
Thanks, Lauren. I see Vivian dropped into the chat. Carve a lot of time out for filming and editing. It takes a while. I agree with that. It takes me long enough to take a picture these days.
My chapter had everyone scan a QR code like at one of our meetings that linked to the form to fill out so that she didn't have to like remember if she forgot she had it on file. I don't know. I thought that was a good idea.
That's a great idea. Last year, we started filming early in the semester, which was super helpful. How early did you start filming, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I want to say, I'm trying to remember like the exact month or the exact timeline, but we have like our historians and then we have a media team. So I think as soon as we got the media team, we kind of started brainstorming different ideas and kind of started filming maybe like 2 weeks after that. So I would say like late September.
Sweet, thank you. That's really helpful. And Vivian, how long did you say, or would you say it took to do the filming and editing? If you're able to talk.
Yeah, I would say we probably gave like a month of, actually we did like 2 weeks of filming and then we probably had like a month and a half worth of editing, just because like everyone has different schedules for school and we wanted to make sure that, you know, the video was perfect. So.
Thank you. What aspect of participating in PharmFlix, for those who are maybe newer to PharmFlix, are you most excited about? I'm excited to watch the videos. Team building, yes. Brainstorming creative ideas with the chapter. That sounds really fun. I love brainstorming too. Filming, getting the whole chapter involved. I love that. How do you plan to get the whole chapter involved?
So we had an idea, well, I came up with an idea that everyone who wanted to participate could submit like a paragraph to me about like what the prompt means to them, and then kind of dive deeper into that and maybe use them for like the interviewing process. But that was kind of how I wanted to get people involved.
I love that. That's such a good idea. Seeing different opinions on courage to change. Andrew, did you have a similar idea on how you're gonna get opinions on it? do interviews in Google Forums. That sounds exciting. I like that idea. That's okay. I usually don't have a mic on my computer either, so I completely understand. Clarissa says, I have no experience creating videos, but I'm excited to dive into it and collaborate with my team members. That's exciting. It's exciting to learn a new skill, and I think that in itself is courage to change. It's courage to change for yourself and for your chapter members. So thanks for sharing that. Lauren, did you have any questions for the group?
I think you've gotten a lot of them. I was wondering if anyone had any kind of unique ideas for their video already, like maybe a different setting or a different group of people. If you've kind of started that process, I would love to hear a little bit of what you're doing. Although in hindsight, that might be a little bit of a premature question because this is one of the starting points. So if you don't have ideas yet, you're not behind. You definitely have plenty of time to get working on that.
Agreed. But if you think about some plans maybe you have for the semester, you could also drop those in the chat as well, or unmute. Happy to hear your voice and see your face as well. Did I hear something?
Hey Kennedy, hey Lauren. I'm so sorry. Are you guys able to hear me okay? I know that like my mic has been like kind of cutting in and out lately, and my Wi-Fi is like not my best friend right now. So is this okay?
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to have my camera on and hopefully, okay, perfect. So we're definitely still like in the blue sky development for like brainstorming ideas for PharmFlix board members, and we're thinking things like, you know, like taking those of like when we're at like different service projects throughout the semester, just so we can have like one specific day where we have to film everything, and or even like past service projects. Like I know that people have gone on like mission to get like their perspective on like what like courage to change means for them based on like their experience.
I love that. That's such a good idea.
And so we're really excited about that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's such a great idea. Question in the chat, any barriers that came up last year and advice on how to overcome them for those who participated last year? That's a great question.
I can give my perspective on that. So I had a little bit of trouble getting chapter members to be engaged and wanting to get on camera. So I kind of ended up changing my plan of the video. I kind of wanted to include a lot of chapter members, but when that didn't work, I switched to including a lot of kids. So I would encourage you to not, if something doesn't work as planned, just to be creative and kind of spin off of it and trust that it'll still be good.
I love that. Like having a plan A and a plan B is probably a good idea if you're able to start planning that now.
Hi again, it's me. I have like a very nitpicky small question. This is kind of directed towards Lauren. If you could share your expertise on this. So music or like public domain music, are there any resources or websites that you'd recommend finding the music from? Because I think like my concern is that like I'd want to choose music for it, but you know, we're gonna be hit with that like copyright strike or something, and I'm like, I'm not really looking forward to to doing that. So just anything to kind of.
Yeah, your mic cut out a little bit, but I think you were asking about music and kind of ways to stay away from copyright rules. Is that right? Okay, I thought that's what you were asking. There are websites that you can download free music that you don't have to have the rights to. I was also a little bit concerned of that, so I only used what was available on iMovie, and those are, I kind of used not exactly music, but more like tones and things. Like there were no words. It was just kind of sound in the background, which I would encourage you to do also, even if you have like people talking, just some very subtle music in the background. I think kind of adds to the quality of the video.
I've never personally had the opportunity to incentivize members to participate, and maybe Lauren can speak to this more, but this is a professionalism activity. So I do think if your school has co-curricular activities, I think that this would count towards that if your members are particularly involved, especially if they're able to write a good reflection piece on it, which I would hope they'd be able to with the theme. So I think that might be a way to incentivize members. But Lauren, I'm gonna probably pop this one back to you again, if you have any ideas.
Yeah, so my school didn't really do anything specific to the PharmFlix video, but just for our APHA chapter in just in general, we have a point system. So students get points for every activity, every like patient care project, or if they run for an office, any kind of leadership roles, they get points for. And then at the end of the year, those points can be converted into dollars to go to national conventions. It's kind of a ratio. It's not necessarily like a 1 point equals $1. But they could do that, or if they're not interested in going to a national meeting, they can go into a raffle for some good prizes. Like we do AirPods and some like bigger items just to kind of get students excited and involved.
I saw Alexandra said that they're entering every participant in to win a gift card. That's a great idea. Or like maybe when you all are done with the video, you could celebrate by having a pizza party for whoever participated, or some sort of fun, celebratory event. Any other questions? I have one last one for you all if you don't. So my question, excuse my security system. My last question is, what additional support can APHA ASP provide to help you have a successful and fulfilling experience with PharmFlix this year? Would another guide be helpful? We do have a great PharmFlix homepage, but happy to help in any additional ways that we can. The guidelines are on the website as well. So everything that we presented tonight can also be found there, and the document going over the theme a little bit. Thank you for dropping that in the chat, Elise. All right, So just a reminder, these are the deadlines for the year. Really excited to see your submission on December 1st. I'm happy to stick around for more questions, but if you don't have any, you are absolutely free to go. I'm really excited to see your submissions this year. I hope you all are courageous and try something new. I know there are about 70% of you who have never done it before, so I'm really excited to see how that goes for you, and we are here for you if you need anything. So hope you all have a great rest of your night.